Welcome back to Did You Know? The channel where we uncover the stories that history textbooks won't dare to tell. You've heard about the glory of ancient Greece, the philosophers, the democracy, the art, the architecture, but did you know that behind those shining marble temples were scandals, secrets, and sins that would shock even today's society? This isn't the Greece you learned about in school. Today we're diving deep into the dirty secrets of ancient Greece. A world of sex cults, slavery, infanticide, and corruption, all hidden beneath the legacy of Western civilization. Get ready, because history is about to get uncomfortable. Sexuality and desire. Let's start with the most talked about and least understood topic in Greek society: sex. The ancient Greeks had a relationship with sexuality that was complex, open, and by modern standards, often disturbing. In classical Athens, there was a widely practiced institution called pederasty, sexual relationships between adult men and teenage boys. These weren't secret affairs. They were socially approved, even celebrated in art and literature. The older man was the mentor, the boy, his student, and also his lover. Philosophers like Plato and Xenophon wrote about these relationships. It was seen as part of a boy's education and transition into adulthood, a view that today is rightfully seen as predatory and abusive. And then there was prostitution, legal, regulated, and taxed by the state. There were public brothels, temple sex workers, and elite courtesans known as hetairai, who were often more educated and politically influential than respectable wives. They could attend male-only drinking parties and even debate philosophy with aristocrats. Some temples, like those dedicated to Aphrodite, used sacred prostitution as religious offering, where sex was considered divine worship. This wasn't a society hiding its desires. It built monuments to them. Women in chains. While Greek men had freedom and access to pleasures, women, especially in Athens, were kept behind closed doors. Athenian women were forbidden from voting, owning property, or even appearing in public without a male escort. Their sole duties? Manage the home, bear children, preferably boys, and remain silent in the presence of men. Girls were married off at 13 or 14 to much older men. Their consent was irrelevant, but things were different in Sparta. Spartan women could own land, inherit wealth, and train physically like men. Yet this wasn't feminism. It was about breeding stronger warriors. Even marriage was functional, with some women only meeting their husbands at night for the sole purpose of reproduction. And if a child was sickly or unwanted, there was exposure, the common Greek practice of leaving infants, especially girls, outside the city to die of cold or hunger. This was not illegal. In many places it was expected. Democracy for the few. We celebrate Athens as the birthplace of democracy. But let's be honest, it wasn't democracy for everyone. Only male citizens over the age of 18 could vote. No women, no slaves, no foreigners, even those born and raised in Athens. That meant over 85% of the population had no political rights. And while the elite debated ethics and justice in the agora, it was slaves who built the city and suffered for it. Athens had an estimated 80,000 slaves at its peak. They worked in homes, fields, shops, and the silver mines of Laurion, where conditions were so lethal, many never made it out alive. Even the great philosopher Aristotle defended slavery. He called some people natural slaves destined to serve. Greek freedom? It was built on the backs of the enslaved. Religion and rituals. Greek religion wasn't about morality, it was about pleasing the gods. And pleasing the gods sometimes meant doing terrifying things. The cult of Dionysus, god of wine and madness, hosted ecstatic rituals that included intoxication, dancing, and violent animal sacrifice. Women in these cults, called maenads, would enter trance-like states, ripping animals apart with their bare hands in acts of divine frenzy. And then there were mystery cults, secretive religious orders that promised rebirth and enlightenment. Their ceremonies, veiled in secrecy, but ancient accounts suggest hallucinogenic potions, symbolic deaths, and possibly even real human sacrifices during times of crisis. Religion in ancient Greece wasn't a moral compass. It was a chaotic force, a way to explain, manipulate, and survive the unknown. Philosophers and hypocrisy. Even the intellectual elite weren't immune to the contradictions of their society. Plato, the father of idealism, believed in a rigid class structure where only philosophers should rule. Aristotle, his student, taught that women were biologically inferior and that slavery was not only acceptable, it was natural. Socrates, the godfather of questioning, often associated with the most powerful and corrupt figures in Athens. He challenged the gods and the state, but left many uneasy with his influence over the youth. It eventually led to his execution. And the celebrated Parthenon, symbol of Athenian greatness, it was paid for using money stolen from an alliance of Greek city-states meant to defend against Persia. Behind the philosophy was politics. Behind the ethics, ambition. Ancient Greece was a civilization of contrasts. It gave us timeless wisdom and deep injustice. It birthed democracy and crushed countless lives to uphold it. It worshipped beauty while hiding brutality behind it. The same hands that carved the statues and wrote the plays also held whips, tore families apart, and sacrificed infants to forgotten gods. History isn't clean. It's messy, complicated, and human. The glory of Greece? It's real. But so are the dirty secrets that helped to build it. Thanks for watching Did You Know? If you learned something new, something that shook your view of the past, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who still thinks ancient history was all golden statues and philosophy. Got a dirty secret from history you want us to expose next? Drop it in the comments. Until next time, remember, history isn't just what we celebrate, it's what we're brave enough to uncover.